Hello, YouTubers. It's Travis. Welcome back for another Kamigawa Neon Dynasty draft. This one happens to be the Sweatsuit Invitational, so I'm drafting with some really good players. And you may be able to tell from the video length that this one didn't go quite as well as I might have liked, but I think you'll see why I chose to present it to you, and I hope that you'll enjoy watching it. As much as I've enjoyed Neon Dynasty, it's been a pleasant surprise to really like this format. This may be one of the better formats that we've had in quite some time. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and that if you're not already subscribed, you consider subscribing. That'll give you an alert when there's a new one to watch, as well as help the channel grow. Thank you, and enjoy today's draft. Well, hello there. Word on the street is that this is the best card in the set. Kind of happy for people to think that. I don't know what's not to like about the Springleaf Avenger. He attack, he protect, he insect. What are we looking to wheel here? Probably not getting the Death Toucher back. Wondrous Intervention would be all right. Samurai would be aight. But I think I'm pretty happy to start with the Avenger. Would love to be green. Pass me any reason to be green, Icky, and I will jump all over it. Very interested in maintaining green if we possibly can. It's difficult to argue with a 4-mana bounce spell on a land. Because if I wanted to take another green card here and kind of force it and or cut green, I would need to do something like take Fate into Antiquity, which I'm very happy to take and play. I just don't know that I can condone second picking one. Somebody took an uncommon here, so I don't think we're sending any sort of green signal doing this. This seems okay, too, like the Lethal Exploit, but I think we take the land and see where that goes. I think blue-green's probably the color pair I'm most interested in playing if I get to pick. Recognizing that this is cut off a little bit, let's fix that. Sponsor stuff kind of covering up one of the cards. I apologize for that. This is my favorite card in the set. I don't think the Sweatsuit is the time to try to break it. But I will break this. There's a Flame Discharge here, so we're going to take that. Green-red starting to look interesting to me. Potentially Teamer things. Yeah, I can't really get rid of the sponsors. I don't think this makes it. No, that just is going to cover up something different. So sorry, I know some of the cards are not quite visible. We'll try and fix that in the future. Whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 and a blue. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. Does that not seem incredibly busted to y'all? Because it seems incredibly busted to me. Seems like a very strong card to me. I guess if I keep it right here, you can read all the cards, so that works. Well, I'm kind of getting the feeling that we should be in blue-red instead of green-blue. And maybe we splash the Avenger, maybe we don't, right? It's like we're getting past like decent stuff for this. I also really liked the Spellbreaker. So like if we start looking at our build as this instead of that, all of a sudden it looks significantly better. I want this more. I can find the cheap artifacts. A little sling, which is fine. There's a terrarium, which is fine. If we were going to splash, that would be a great way to do it. It's sort of planned to splash the green card. Jamie, thank you for the raid. I hope your stream went well. Feels a bit too early to be picking it, but I kind of got a plan. I think it's a good plan. Let's see where my plan goes. Okay. Here's another little artifact, bro. Dropping some beats. I'm glad you're having fun with it, Jamie. I'm liking it too. I think she knew what you meant, Kenny. A big raid. We could use some 2-drops as well. And I mean, I certainly do want to spend some yeet beats. If all of our creatures are artificers too, then the replication specialist is just going to be great. This does tap for any color, so this would frankly be enough for me to splash the Avenger. Yeah, we can read the cards too. Welcome home, sweetheart. It's good to see you. Yeah, I think I want the network terminal, and we're just going to play Teamer. Or at least splash my Insac. See, here's your problem. There's too many good cards in this pack. There's a distinct possibility that we're actually green-red because that's what's open, and we splash the Restoration Specialist if we get their own artifacts, and we don't if we don't. Because this was the second best green card in that pack where we opened the Avenger, and it came back. It's also a perfectly fine ninjutsu enabler, right? Because, like, who's going to block it? Oh, one day, my friend. One day we will do the thing. Today is not that day. I'll take the Samurai. I think I like this. If I cut the Specialist and the City, this is also just a fine red-green start. But why would I ever consider cutting it when it's such an easy splash? Yeah, this reminds me of the Thalid Omnivore from Dominaria. That won me a lot of games. I don't think we're playing that, but we could. Same with this. Righto, what have we here? We've awakened awareness, which I like. We've also got 5/5 Hasty Boy, which I like quite a bit too. It moves us a little further away from doing artifact things, but we don't have to do artifact things. But this is not a must play. This is a might be cool to play. Whereas that Saga is pretty dang good. I don't remember this being unbeatable, right? Yeah, it's just connects. It's indestructible. We can fight with that. I think we take the Saga here and continue our plan to be mostly red-green. Yeah, this will come up. Like, there's a decent amount of warriors that can synergize with the Samurai nonsense. I don't think we're super interested in moving here, but it is kind of crazy that there's literally no green cards. This flash flying makes something else indestructible. It's a good card. We could conceivably try to splash that, but I don't think I want to. There's just not much for us, is there? Yeah, if we're playing red-green, we might end up splashing the pacifism. Yuck. Not a fan of this, but this is a rough pack. Okay, we're getting past really good white cards. How does that work? Because this is another very solid removal spell. I don't know how that works. I don't need to know how that works. We'll figure out where this is going. There's no need to do that. Like I'm getting past premium white removal spells, right? Just kill everything and figure the rest of it out. Yeah, here's your sign. We can do green-white. We can do green-white, splash a flame discharge. Let's give it a go. Didn't think this is where we're going after the first pack, but I don't hate how this looks. I've got the terrarium and a network terminal. And if it dries up, I can always do something else. Like, there's still plenty of draft left. But it feels like these pieces are coming by and we should grab them. This set's really fun so far. I like the Sunblade Samurai. I like the fact that, like, this is a thing we can be doing. A plan we can go after. My intention is to win tonight. Simwife did get me some coffee from Pineapple Labs for Valentine's Day. So I don't need to win, but it'd still be very nice to. You know what I mean? All right, so walk with me here. It was indeed love beans. They were very good. Could I splash that too? I'm starting to get a slightly different plan for where we're going. And it hinges on something that you may not actually remember that we have. But I'll remind you, we got a grafted growth, which I think means we're playing all of this. Anybody like 5-color green? Because you can do it in this set. And I think we're getting handed the pieces to pull it off. Yeah, we are. That's a big one. Cool. Not just a Tanuki, a greater Tanuki. The Skyblessed Samurai is going to be a little more difficult to pull off. Yeah, we are in a tournament, so it'd be preferable to win, but I suppose not required. The Awakened Awareness would be a little difficult for us to pull off. I don't particularly care for that. Doing well, Ender. How are you doing? Could jam a Lucky Offering. At least like having access to one. I do think we're going to be green-white base. Not in love with these pieces. I could kind of use like a couple more 2-drops in green/white. Or I just take the network terminal and say, screw it, we're not playing the early game. And I think that's actually where I'm at. Like, who cares about the early game? Like, I'm splashing for this now, too. And this. Yeah, agreed. Man, this is an experience. I got so many network terminals. We are very well networked. We've been to like a LinkedIn meeting and everything. This is not particularly great, right? That turns into the egg. Oh no, wait a minute. This one was good. We get a monk. We put a counter on things. And then we get a 2/2. And I can put counters on stuff. This is quite good. I remember there were 2 sagas. One of them I liked a lot, and one of them I didn't like. Yeah, seems great. I was thinking it was the one that like died into a dragon's egg or something. That one's not particularly good. The one that make 1/1s is okay, but there's one that like messes with your cards and then it transforms into an egg and traps your cards under it and you basically never get them back. Like, that doesn't seem great. But did I mean what I said about 5-color green, and is this a big enough payoff? Exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And then I get a 6/6, flying trample. I kind of feel like I have to do this. Yeah, I kind of do. You bet I want. You lose. Now I can play my Stillwater Cliffs. Have I got enough playables? I kind of do, and I can play a bunch of garbage at this point. I'm pretty much only interested in like green or colorless 2-drops, which this technically is, because that's the spot where I'm hurting the most. Yeah, I'm torn between the Craig and the Artificer here. But I think we take the Craig. The Artificer's reasonable too, because remember, we don't really have any 2-drops. We need them. This is too good for what we're doing. I should have all the fixing I need with a million network tunnels, a terrarium, and 3 duels. I don't even need that many white sources, because the Sunblades can go get those. And my neighbors will learn, if you don't send me a signal in draft, I will do something stupid. I'd really like something cheap to play, but I can't find it. Yeah, this pack has virtually nothing that I want to play. difficult. All right, I'll deal. Good blockers look good. Okay, there's a 2-drop I like. That can get some work done. I also really like Fade. But it's not responsible not to take the cultivation here. We don't need vehicles where we're going. Our opponents are going to experience the Kami War. I mean, this is kind of what we're doing on to now. I think I've got 5. I've already got a Gloom Shrieker. I've won it more than anybody else. I think Jim Davis is the closest. I don't actually want any of this. I'm playing enough artifacts. I probably play the specialist too. Cut the samurai and call this the deck. Ooh, another stalker is real nice. Frankly, so is another terrarium, but I think I can pull this off because we're just kind of lightly splashing. If you think about it. I could even play the Sentinel. That makes me happy. But we won't do that here. It's a really good sideboard card. I think it's probably good enough to main deck, but I don't feel like I have to do it here. Huh. I kind of wanted that and we got it back anyway. That's neat. Thing is, I don't want it anymore. I wanted it when I initially saw it, but I kind of don't now. I might could play a sphere, but I don't think we even do that. Might put a story weave in. All right, I'm going to need to do a little bit of work here to get this into something reasonable. The main thing to think about here is, do we have the mana to cast the spells that we need? We need 1 basic of each type, and we've got that. I've also got 3 network terminals. What's up, generic guy?
Hi, Travis. Hi, chat Sem. I haven't been around, but hope everyone's good.
Life is good. It's probably 1 more network terminal than I'd like. Because with the terrariums and these, that's basically giving me 5 sources of any color. So I think we can trim it down to 1 basic from everything except for green. And then I can cast most of the stack. Because green could also get me one of the other colors with the Tanuki. So let's start with adjusting this down to 1 basic of every color and ramping up the green. That would give me 6, 7 green sources. It's a disaster if we have to use this to get green, so I kind of want to get in another green source. This is where things like this start to come in to be a problem. It's like, don't know that I can actually run those. I may have to cut that, or just cut one of these and play an extra green source land. I could totally do that. Yeah, I don't have enough green. That's our biggest challenge. Is there a card I'd like to play over the terminal? It would need to be very powerful. You know what? I could play this card draw. I could play the Mnemonic Sphere. Cut one of the terminals. I still need one more green source. Yeah, I don't get to play the Stillwater Cliff. This is with 17 lands, right? No, this is with 14 lands. Okay, never mind. I do get to play it. For some reason, I was trusting that that had counted the lands properly, and it didn't. There's 15. Yeah, we need cuts, not extra includes. That's great news. Because if I can have 10 green sources, we got a deck. Yeah, I'm not playing 14 lands. There's a suggest land button when you're drafting, I believe. I don't know that there is here. Because remember, we're building this deck in the interface. Crafted Growth also gives me color, like sources of any color. The answer is we don't play the Specialist, and we can probably cut one more of the terminals, because I'm not actually ramping with them. Now it gets a little harder from here. But it's probably the Trespasser. I think I can work with this. Because the Terrarium plus the Network Terminal plus the Grafted Growth can all get me the, plus the Tanuki can all get me the lands that I need. We've got decent removal. This deck's going to flood a little bit. It's very prone to flood. That's my only real downside. Kind of makes me want to play the Specialist so we could get value out of drawing more artifacts, but I've ended up cutting most of the artifacts. So I think this is as close as I can get. But I don't think it's bad. Fox people. How many artifacts would you be willing to sacrifice to the Steelbreaker? Enough of them to kill my opponent. The question is my opponent willing to gamble that I'm not willing to do it and block it? But to answer your question, potentially all of them, depending on my opponent's life total, right? Yeah, I think this is what we're going to run. Let's do it. Here, let's win this round, and then we can talk about it. Very reasonable deck. Nothing complicated or weird going on here. I don't think I have that. Well, I suppose anything's possible. Not really ideal there. This is where we want a bit of our mana fixins. I could play this on here and attack with it. But I believe that Nate probably has removal. And I'm just going to let him have a great trade. Okay, it's good news. Like, not all aggro. We were supposed to be able to hit multiple colors, though. That was kind of part of our jam. I perhaps have underestimated my ability to get multiple colors of mana. A bit of a flaming discharge problem, have you? Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, that is not the kind of pig club I wanted. Hey, you got it handled, sweetheart. Thank you. Good, good. Not exactly what we needed. I believe this kills the Travis. We did have a plan, though. I think it was an alright plan. Just a bit too much didn't draw the mana sources things. I thought drawing the Kamigawa would be the hard part. So we needed to draw graft, terrariums, and I almost want to cut a land and play another network terminal. Don't do what I do. $16 land, 5-color ramp deck. It's perfect sense to me. I'm very concerned this deck will flood out. And I wonder what the balance is on the terrariums. And I wonder how many turtles are in the terrariums. I have a lot of questions. Terrarium. It's a big sword the Wanderer has. Alright, I can work with this one at least. I reckon I'm okay trading these off. I need the game to go longer. One-time dealer hit me with that good stuff. Thank you. This one needs to get black so that I can get back the something something, or blue so that I can draw more cards. It needs to get blue so that I can draw more cards. Deck doesn't seem so bad when we can draw a terrarium. Dutch was one of the cats that could not properly digest cow's milk. Two first striker we can handle. If I play enough games, I can figure out how to do 5-color green right. It looks like it should be an archetype for this set. I don't think that this is a great example of it, but I couldn't get a read on what else to do, so I figured we may as well have some fun. Sure. Well, I say sure, but it kind of doesn't matter. I think I just want the terrarium. Good evening, Renan. It's not very nice, is it? It's 2. This is 4 mana. I'm 1 short of doing everything I want to do, which is a real shame. I could get him with it next turn. sort of. But I may as well just do it now. I think I want the 2 cards. Well, that's not great. I guess it's also kind of not the end of the world, eh? I could just bounce it if they do that again, which I'm pretty inclined to do. If I want a ninjutsu in the spring leaf, I need to go ahead and spend 2 mana to put a counter here and accept that those counters are going to die. There's not really anything I want to get back so bad that'll like break this wide open. Kind of a difficult decision point. We'll delay that a turn. Time is on my side. I could just play it out, eh? Should have saved one of the creatures, but let's put him in a little bit of trouble here. I don't quite understand. I guess they wanted to deny me a card because they can block the 2/5 forever now, but I'm okay with that. I don't feel like they have great blocks for this without 2-for-1ing themselves, which is kind of fine by me. That's like I drew a card and it was a removal spell for one of their dudes. It's a good card. I think I remember that being a decent card too. Yeah, they can draw cards with that. So if I attack here, they're going to let the moth take it. Presumably. Ground is clogged. They're drawing a card every turn. I'm putting a bunch of counters on my dudes every turn. I really think I should have saved the Stalker. Because flooding out from here would be bad. As you can see, it is causing a problem. Because now they can make 5/5 Dargans. That's a real problem. I need the Kami War yesterday. Or to have just not played this the turn earlier. I didn't quite get through all my sequencing. I'm over here trying to do fun things. Do you see the mana base I've built? I think we are sadly very, very dead. But we made a go of it, didn't we? Oop. We got the Kami War one game and the mana for it the other game. I do think this is a relatively aggressive deck that we're playing against. So you've got time to dirtle around and do junk like this. Hey, I'm glad I tried too. If you're not having fun in Magic, you're doing it wrong. We're here for a good time, not a long time. One, two, three, four, five, six. We could have made it even more. We made a large samurai. But I think this was not our time. No, I'm keeping my dragon. Can't make me stop. I am the nerd that got wrecked. And a big thank you to my patrons. Thank you, Paul, Punk, Hero J, Joe, Jesse, Jacob, Scott, Fasty, Rich, Brandon, John, and Jazzy. We'll see you next time.